Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada J. What's up? What's up? I'm on time this week. I'm on time. Okay. So this is the Haves and Have Not season 5, episode 15. A Woman Under the Stairs. Okay, so we're just gonna go right in. Now we pick up where we left off last week. Remember last week, Justin and Jeffrey they made up, and so it's all good now and all this. So as Jeffrey leaves out, Justin goes to sit on the stairs. Now, when we left off last week, Veronica's coming up the stairs and she goes, "So you're married?" And then we cut off right there. So tonight we come back and she goes, "So you're married?" And he's real nonchalant, like real kind of arrogant at first. Because remember, they met, I'm guessing it was still earlier that night. Remember when he followed Jeffrey home to apologize? I don't know about him. If I was Jeffrey, you might want to get your restraining order out right now, Jeffrey, before it's too late. Okay? Because Kelly will tell you, Kelly from The Fluffy Was Wrong will tell you, get the restraining order out quick, or else you going to look crazy. All right? So, I don't know. I think I'm not really about to diss it because I think maybe Jeffrey likes him too. So, I don't know. I don't really know about them being a legitimate couple. I just don't know about that. So anyway, so she's like, "So you're married?" And he's real, nonchalant at first. He was like, "Oh, Miss Harrington, how are you?" She goes, "How am I?" He goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, I'm a little nauseous right now." He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." He's like, "Why?" She goes, "Oh, well, because of what I just heard." He goes, "Well, what'd you hear?" She goes, "So we're really gonna play this game?" He's like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "Well, something must be wrong with your short-term memory." "No, I don't think anything's wrong with my memory." "Oh, so, but you don't remember having a conversation with my son, Jeffrey, just a few moments ago on this stereo?" He goes, "Oh, Jeffrey, yeah, we were just killing time, just talking." He's like, "Oh," she goes, "Oh, so you two know each other. You're friends." He goes, "Yeah, we've known each other for a little while now." She goes, "Where'd you meet?" He goes, "The gym." She goes, "Which one?" He's like, "What's with all the questions?" And she goes, "I'm just giving you some practice. Practice. From when you're on the stand. I've told you I've had many cops like you on the stand before. On the stand for what?" She goes, "We'll get back to that in a minute, but let's continue with this." She goes, "But you still haven't answered my question." And he's like, "What question?" She was like, "You don't remember the first question that I asked you?" He was like, "No, sorry. Would you mind repeating that?" She goes, "You're married." And he goes, "Well, technically that's not a question. It's a sentence statement." And then she goes, "Oh, semantics. That's real cute. But it actually taught me a lesson because when I have you on the stand in court, I will have to word things in the form of a question. So thank you. So you're married?" And then he goes, "Yes, I am." And then she goes, "So does she know about your unnatural affections?" And he's like, "Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "I'm talking about your perverted interest in my son." He goes, "Again, I still don't know what you're talking about." So I'm gonna speed this up because this scene actually went kind of long. Not, I'm saying, I mean, it was an interesting scene, but I wanted to give you guys play by play in the beginning, but now I'm just gonna kind of. Okay, so basically, he goes ahead and tells her, "Oh, my wife is a judge, right?" And she goes, "Oh, is she?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's actually the judge on your case." And he starts thinking he has the upper hand. Always the big mistake, buddy, because Veronica ain't never. Even if you do have the upper hand, she not gonna let you know you got it. So he's like, "Oh, that's my wife's on the case." She goes, "Oh, then that means it's highly improper of me to be speaking to you right now." He's like, "The only thing that's improper is you accusing me of something improper going on between me and another man." He's like, "And never interfere with what I'm doing or saying again." Like I'm guessing he was saying like if you ever see me talking to Jeffrey, never like try and interfere with that. So like you're trying to, and then he's getting into all this. "Oh, I'm not gay," and my wife knows that because she goes, "Well, what if I go and tell your wife and your boss and all that?" And then it's something interesting she said. I want to get this in because I didn't write it down, but I was like, I'll probably remember that. Okay, she said, "In this climate, like at the time that we're in right now, the climate is so different." She goes, "Remember Lizzie Castile? Remember who Wyatt ran over?" She goes, "A rich white male ran over Lizzie Castile and got immunity." She was like, "Now you are a white officer." She goes, "Now you sexually harassing my son." She goes, "Well, that'll make national news." And I was like, "I can't, Veronica. That was, yeah, it was fierce." So basically, he's trying to go threat for threat, and it's just she, shuts him down. And then I want to make sure I'm not missing anything key. Oh, she basically tells him, "Oh, you're sexually harassing, my son." And then this is actually before. Sorry, you guys. She goes, "Well, I can't believe that you would do this to him." And he's like, "Do what? What are you talking about?" She goes, "His future wife is clinging to life in the hospital, and his future, and my future grandchild that she's carrying is in danger, and you're sexually harassing my son. And then he goes, sexually harassing? Have you lost your mind? She goes, no, but I almost lost my dinner listening to you talk to him. And then he's like, I don't know what's wrong with you and all that. She goes, no, no, no. You're going to listen to me. He's like, no, you're going to listen to me. She's like, now that is strike 2. Now, when it gets to strike 3, the nice Veronica will no longer be here. And he goes, this is nice, Veronica? And she goes, yeah, the witch behind door number 2 is a heart stopper. So, like, she's just going in on him. And then she goes, because he's really trying to act like he's not shook by anything. And then he, like, even puts, like, I think it was, like, a taser to her throat. And he's like, does this scare you? Because he tries to get in her face. She's like, get off, like, get away from me. Like, you think that scares me? And he pulls out the taser. He goes, does this scare you? She goes, no. He goes, well, what scares you? She goes, nothing. And no one. And he's like, well, who are you? She goes, where you been, girl? I'm Veronica Harrington. And so, okay. So then, as he's, like, about to leave or whatever, she goes, oh, but I hate to tell you this, but, you're not the first. He's been in love with his friend Wyatt for years. Did you see them in that room together? Oh, my goodness. Yes, he loved him some Wyatt, so he couldn't handle it no more, so he just walked out. So she's like, oh, you don't want to hear this, honey? And then, all right. And then she tells him, I'm going to have your wife removed from the case tomorrow. I'm going to go to the courthouse and have her removed under the grounds that you're having an affair, that her husband is having an affair with my son. So then he keeps saying, don't threaten me, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And he goes, well, what do you want from me? Like, what do you want? And then she goes, I already told you, stay away from my son. He's like, yeah, well, so you're kind of putting out there that something is going on, because why won't you just stay away from him? So I don't, and she gonna follow up on that. Jeffrey be doing something, because remember, Landon knew how crazy Veronica was, and he still tried to pursue Jeffrey. Because I'm sorry, Jeffrey and Cutie and all that, but I'd be like, okay, your mama is a little too crazy for me. I'm gonna have to go find me somebody else, because I can't deal with her. But these dudes be all on Jeffrey, like, nah, I'm not about to let you go. And that's how it is with Justin right now, too. All right, Jeffrey. So then we switch to Jeffrey. He's walking up the hallway, and Jim and David run up to him. And David's like, are you okay, son? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. And Jim goes, Jeffrey, have you seen Wyatt? He's like, yeah. He goes, is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. And he was like, if he OD'd again, I swear to... He's like, no, it's nothing like that. Like, actually, he came here by himself. He tried to detox himself, but it didn't work. He goes, detox himself? What are you talking about? He was like, Wyatt? And then he goes, yeah, like, it was all Wyatt. He was like, no, you made him come here, didn't you, Jeffrey? He's like, no, I swear it was all him. And he's like, okay, well, where is he? And he's like, well, and then David goes, Jeffrey, come on. And Jim is like, well, where is he? And then Jeffrey's like, well, I don't think you should see him right now. And then David is like, Jeffrey. And then he's like, Dad, he's in a fragile state. I just think he would get very agitated if he saw him. It's that half Jeffrey thinks that he's Wyatt's wife or something. And then it's like, I really am a psychologist, and I'm telling you, you are a source of agitation for him, so I don't think you should see him. So it's like half and half, So he's like, I don't really think you should see him right now. He's in a fragile state, and seeing you might, increase agitation. And so Jim is like, we just don't think, no, so Jeffrey's like, so we just don't think it's a good idea. He goes, He goes, Jeffrey, you're not his doctor. You're not treating him. Where is he? He's like, look, he's... Okay, sorry, I just thought I saw something flying around. I don't mess with... I don't know if the light flickered or something just flew past me. Okay, never mind it, y'all. But if I see something else, I might have to stop production. Somebody's fired if there's something flying around in the studio. I can't deal with it. Oh, I gotta stop in the middle to tell y'all this, because I always be like, I'm gonna get to the end, but then I forget. Did y'all hear that Tyler is leaving OWN to do some 90 episodes, to produce 90 episodes a year for BET? Now, I'm happy that we're gonna have Tyler Perry on BET. Okay, BET wants Tyler Perry because Tyler Perry brings a lot of ratings and a lot of viewership to channels like TLC. He just bought Too Close to Home. Their ratings are blowing up. Of course, OWN, when he was on TBS, because For Better or Worse actually switched networks. For Better or Worse was on, I believe it was TBS for a little while, and then he had House of Pain and Meet the Browns were on BET. So Tyler Perry is pretty much a cash cow. Like, if you want ratings, people know Tyler. You go to Tyler, and of course there's other producers and directors and stuff that you want, but Tyler, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to hear that he's gonna be on BET. But what does this mean for if the haves and have nots and if loving you is wrong? Because Too Close to Home, that'll probably still be on TLC. That's not really going to affect that. But it said he's leaving OWN. So what does that mean? And he's going to be producing 90 episodes a year of God. We don't know what it is. It's going to be a show for BET. So is he taking... I can't see if Loving You Is Wrong being on BET. Can y'all? I like the haves and have-nots. I can almost... Okay, maybe we can have that on there. But if Loving You Is Wrong... I just don't see it. I don't know what's gonna happen with that because okay, we are. I'm so hyped right now, y'all, but like in a mad way. But then I'm like, okay, but what if the show on BT is really good because they're saying 90 episodes a year? So I'm like, I don't really want him leaving OWN because I don't know if he. What are you gonna do with these shows, Tyler? Because okay, from what I looked up, right, the Haves and Have-Nots has already been renewed for 2 seasons. So that means there is another. Like the latest season that we have right now for sure, the Haves and Have-Nots will definitely be on in 2019 because all those seasons have already been produced. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. So we're good. But 2019 is actually when Tyler Perry has signed on to step onto BET. So is 2019? Is that going to be like the series finale for the Haves and the Have-Nots? I don't know about if Love You Is Wrong because I'm pretty sure they're definitely renewed. But the Haves and the Have-Nots has definitely been renewed up to 2019, and those episodes are already filmed and done. So, like, as of now, what would that would be like season 7? No, wait, we're on the second half of season 5 right now. So that would be like season 6 if it's split into 2 halves, right? 28. No, that would be season 7. Whatever. So we should be good with the Haves and the Have-Nots up to season 7 because it says that's right now that's the last season that they shot and filmed is for 2019. So that should be season 7. So I don't know what's going on. But don't just think you about to end the show like that, Tyler. You better tie up everything. And I'm not even ready for the show to end. Like, I don't even want to talk about this no more. Never mind. Just let me know if y'all heard about that. I'm sorry to take up so much time with it. I just had to get it out. Okay? Because I don't know too many other people who mess with this show like that. So anyway, okay. He is like, listen, Jeffrey, I know that, you know, he's in a fragile state. He goes, and I know that you love him, Jeffrey. He goes, but I'm in a fragile state too, and I love him, and I just want to know if he's okay. And Jeffrey is so freaking just disrespectful. He goes, he's fine. And then David has to step in. He's like, come on, son. He's gonna find him anyway. That's his son. He's like, Dad, I just don't want him to get stressed out. He was like, son, you're prolonging this unnecessarily. He's already gonna find out where he's at. And he's like, Jeffrey, okay, I'm sorry I yelled because I just really want to know where he's at. He's like, okay. He's in room 323. He's like, thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. Is that down this way? He's like, yeah. And then he hugs him. And then he's like, I really am sorry I yelled. And he kisses him, like, on the forehead. So I don't know what that was. Because, okay, fine. Y'all all been friends for years. But I never really got that Jeffrey is like a son to me from Jim. So I don't really know where that came from. Like, you would just assume if you're best friends with somebody and they have kids, that is like a child to you. Like, your child to you. But that never, I don't know. That was weird. Like, now you're going to try and step him back like a godfather. You know what I'm saying? I don't appreciate it. So Jim walks away. And he's like, son, you did the right thing. He's like, I just think anything he says or does can get him agitated. He's like, we know that son, but he loves him. It's fine. So then he goes, how are you? He goes, how am I? He goes, I mean, I'm fine, I guess. He's like, and how is Melissa? He goes, Dad, she's not good. She needs help. She's depressed. She's suicidal. He's like, what did your mother do to her? He goes, everything, Dad, everything. But I really think that her dad dying really set it off. What I didn't like right here was I was expecting Jeffrey to sort of be... And I was really mean to her. So I feel bad. Because I know Jeffrey... I feel like Jeffrey feels bad. But you could have expressed that right there. Like, because we haven't really heard him voice that. So you could have said to him, like, you know, and I was really mean to her, Dad. Like, I didn't want her to do this. I was just really upset. And I took it out on her. And she... You know, but we didn't get that from him. He just kind of said it was his mom. And he left it at that. I mean, it was mostly her. But I'm pretty sure you being mean to her didn't help, Jeffrey. When she tells you her dad died and you said... who cares? I got to get some sleep or whatever. Like, I can't believe it. Anyway, so David is like, oh, that's so sad. Like, we knew him. He goes, wait, you knew him? He goes, yeah, your mother and I were friends with them for years. So that's just how quick Veronica could switch up on you when she's thinking about her mother as himself. So then Jeffrey's like, wow. And then he goes, so, wait, Dad, what is it that you wanted to talk to me about? And David just goes right in. He's like, so what is this I hear that you had something to do with Quincy's murder? And he goes, Dad, he was a horrible person. Remember how I did that? Like, horrible? He says horrible. He's like, he was a horrible person, Dad. And he's like, I know, son, but, like, what does that mean? And then so Jeffrey's crying. He's like, I'm sorry, this is really hard for me to talk about. He's like, I didn't mean to. He's like, son, tell me what happened. He's like, take your time. He goes, well, I walked into the house. He tells him what happened, like we saw it, but I'll give you a little bit. He goes, I walked into the house and Quincy was beating Candace. So I grabbed a vase. Instead of vase, I grabbed a vase and I hit him. See, I just seen something again, y'all. Is that somebody is fired because there's some. Okay, then he goes, he's like, I walked into the house and he was beating her, so I grabbed a vase and I hit him. And he got up and he started hitting me. He's like, and I don't know, I got mad. He's like, next thing you know, I was on the floor, he was on the floor, and like there was blood everywhere. He's like, it kind of all happened in slow motion. Like, he goes, son, did you stab him? He's like, yeah, I did. And then he goes, oh my gosh. He's like, son, why didn't you call me? He's like, I didn't want to get you involved. And so he goes, son, you're my son. I'm already involved from the beginning. If you're involved, I'm involved. I love that. And then so he goes, why didn't you call the police? He goes, Candace said it might look like a crime of passion and they would arrest us for murder. He goes, that criminal, you listen to her? And then he goes, and you buried the body in the backyard? He's like, Dad, she wanted to move the body, but the neighbor has freaking cameras like posted up on her door, so we couldn't move it. And he goes, okay, son, who all knows that you did this? He goes, I mean, Mom, Candace, Benny. And when he said Benny, he was kind of looking like, he said, okay, son, I'll get you out of this, so like, don't worry about it. And he goes, but why did you tell your mom instead of me? He's like, I didn't tell her that. She found out. He goes, how? He's like, I don't know. Like, she just found out. He's like, so this is what she has against you? He's like, yeah. So he's like, Dad, but everything should be okay, I guess. He's like, now how in the heck could you possibly think that? He's like, well, Mom is going to the courthouse tomorrow to get the body thrown out. He's like, she can't just have it thrown out. He's like, well, she's trying to say that at the time they had a warrant issued in Candace's name, but by the time they tried to arrest her for the murder of Quincy, the house was already in the bank's name, so it didn't belong to Candace no more. So whatever was found on the premises after that, that's the bank's problem, not Candace's. So David was like, that might work. He's like, okay, well, if she gets the body thrown out, then like we'll have to worry. I don't even remember what he said. He's like, we'll have to worry about something else. But I think he was like, that'll work in your favor. He's like, now son, I want you to go home. He's like, back to Mom's house or whatever. He goes, no, your apartment. He's like, I can't. Remember, she moved me out. He's like, oh yeah, well just go to a hotel and just lay low. He's like, okay. And he's like, thanks, Dad. He's like, no problem. It's good. So I want to make sure I didn't miss anything there. Yeah. He's just like, you should have told me something because I would have protected you. So all right. So then we switch. So this is interesting. Veronica is gonna have. Now we knew that the house was in the bank's name. Remember when she told was laughing at Candace for having the house foreclosed on and everything because that money Jim gave her and all this at the third, and well the loan the bank gave her, and then she's like, well, that might actually work in your favor, little girl. And Candace is like, what are you talking about? And she's like, think, young attorney, think. And then she goes, wait, are you sure that might actually work? And she goes, looks like you finally caught on. She was like, now please let my son know what's going on. And she got up and walked. So we knew that this was gonna try and, but I don't know. I kind of just thought that like the body was thrown out. Like that's what happened. So now I'm a little afraid. Like, what if she petitions that to the court and they're like, no, like we're still gonna, I don't know. So then we switch to Jim. Now he's coming into the room and Anna is there. He's coming in to see Wyatt. Anna is there, the rehab lady. I can't remember what else. She not the rehab. She the rehab lady. Okay, we're over it. Rehabilitation counselor. I'm gonna call her that. And so she's like, oh, Mr. Cryer. And he goes, yeah, who are you? She goes, I'm Anna. And tries to put her hand out to shake his hand. He's like, yeah, and who are you? And she goes, oh, I'm working with him. I'm working with the doctor and everything. We're at this rehab facility. He goes, oh, yeah, okay. Good to meet you. And then he puts his hand out to shake hers. And then he's like, would you mind if I had a few minutes alone with my son? She's like, I don't think that's a good idea. So she's just telling him no. Like he might get agitated, and he's like, I understand this is your job, but give me a few minutes alone with him. So then she finally agrees, and she goes outside. So he like takes this hanky that he had, and it was like a tender moment. He grabs the hanky and like starts blotting the sweat off of Wyatt's forehead, And then he kisses him on the forehead, and then he puts his hand on his, and he's like, buddy, you got this. And he leaves the room, and he's talking to Anna. And he's like, look, I'm sorry. I really wanted to see him. She's like, I understand. And he's like, are you sure that he's going to make it through? And she's like, all I can say, Mr. Cryer, it all depends on him. If he wants to get better, he will. You know, he looked terrible next week. Did y'all see the preview? Did that blackness under his eyes? Oh, he looks awful. He really looks terrible. Like, the makeup people are doing a great job. And Aaron O'Connell, who plays Wyatt, great job. So he looks terrible. So I guess he's up and at it next week. So, yeah. So she goes, yeah, all I can tell you is that it all depends on him, but he's doing very well. And, you know, let's just hope. We'll see what happens, all right? And he's like, well, do you have a card? And she's like, yeah, you know, we do. And then he's like, okay, well, I'll call soon and give you guys all my numbers to make sure if you ever need me, you can call me. And I'll call you guys just, you know. And she's like, okay, that'll be fine. And she goes, nice to meet you, Mr. Cryer. And he's like, yeah, you too. And then she gives that look. Like, is that Celine's daughter? That's her long-lost daughter. I'm over it. And that, not even long-lost. She probably knows about it, but Jim don't know about it. I'm going to say Jim is her father. Okay, now, I don't really know for sure, but why does she keep giving that look? You know? Like, she's about to cry, but at the same time, she's, like, happy. Like, I don't know. I don't know. She in there trying to protect her brother. That's what's going on. Wyatt is her brother. So she just tells him, let's see what happens in the next few weeks, but he's in the best hands. I'll tell you that. So then we switch to Hannah. And Catherine comes in, and Hannah's just sitting on the couch. So she's like, how are you? She's like, I don't even know. And she goes, did you sleep at all? Did that pill work? You remember the volume she gave her, like, last week? No, it was last week for us, but, like, I don't know, like, day before for them. And she goes for about an hour or so, and then she's like, Hannah, you mean to tell me you've been up all night? And she's like, it's okay, like, I'm fine. And she goes, you know, I thought about what I was going to say to you when I woke up this morning, but honestly, there's nothing that anybody can say. Nothing anybody could do or say except God. And she goes, God. She goes, Hannah, now you know that's not you. And don't do that, because, like, how she said God was, like, you know, questionably. And she's like, that's not you, Hannah. She's like, I don't know who I am these days, you know. And so she's like, have you seen my phone? She's like, yes, in the kitchen charging. And then she's like, I need to call Benny. So she calls Benny, but remember, Benny's in jail, so Mitch has his phone. So Mitch picks up the phone. He's at the fountain drop getting QJ's stuff. He's getting QJ's games that Hannah asked Benny to go pick up, but obviously he can't because he's in jail. So when Mitch is down there getting QJ's games and whatever, Hannah calls. So he's like, oh, snap. So he picks up the phone, and she goes, Mitch, I need to speak to Benny. Where is he? He's like, well, he can't come to the phone right now. She's like, well, where is he? He goes, well, he stepped out for a minute. So she could believe that with everything that's going on, that he just stepped out. So she goes, okay, well, tell him to call me. He's like, all right. And then he leaves the fountain drop. So then she goes, I don't know where Benny is, and I got to start without him. Because she tells Mitch, we have to start setting up these funeral arrangements. And she gets off the phone. She tells Catherine, she's like, I got to start without him because I don't even know where he's at. And she's like, Hannah, just let me help you. She's like, I couldn't ask you to do that. She goes, but it will really help me a lot. You know, she knows she's talking about financially. And she goes, after all you helped me with Amanda and my family, she goes, girl, this ain't even nothing. She's like, we ain't got no insurance. She's like, Hannah, I'll cover it. Like, it's no problem. She goes, we can't even afford a casket. And then she tells her again, she's like, Hannah, don't worry about it. Like, everything you've done for me, this is really just a small thank you. And then she goes, I remember when Amanda died, she was like, and we called the funeral, and they were asking all these things, what's her favorite color, you know, what's her favorite flower. Catherine goes, yeah, I remember that. And then she goes, how am I supposed to talk about a 5-year-old's favorite flower? She's like, Hannah, just pick one out for him. And she goes, he loved purple. She goes, it's his favorite color. She goes, or was his favorite color. She goes, I hope he gets his games. And she goes, because he loved toys. And she goes, I hope Benny gets his stuff from the motel. And Catherine is like, you let me handle Benny. Like, I'll call him and I'll make sure everything is sorted out. She's like, thank you. And then she tells her she's going to cook. Like, you know, she goes, let's get some food in you. And then she's like, what are you doing? Because she sees Catherine over there with a pot. She goes, are you cooking? She's like, yeah. She's like, She's like, then I know I don't want no food. And then she goes up to the stove. She's like, Now, how do you turn this thing on? I said, I'm done with Catherine. I'm done. We know you can't cook. I'm thinking she talking about she got a chef in there or something. We see it's just Catherine. I said, no, Catherine, you know you can't cook. And then you go to the stove talking about, now how do you turn this thing on? And Hannah in the background like, so then we switched to Candace at the hotel. And Charles, the presidential candidate that she's blackmailing, is in the other room and she hears his kids. So I'm guessing she liked to hear, like, she heard them laughing and everything. So I'm guessing she just liked to hear, you know, sometimes the sound of kids, like, it is kind of like deep breath, like, you know, it's like, yeah, you just like, they're just so cute and, you know, annoying, but, you know what I'm saying? I'm over it. Okay, so yeah, she hears them and she opens the door, like, so I guess she can hear them kind of laughing, just, you know, reminds her, probably reminds her of QJ. She doesn't know that he's died yet, but she knows she hasn't constantly been in her son's life. So I was guessing that's why she opens the door. She hears them kind of laughing, so she opens the door. So the kids hear her open her door, so they go over there and open theirs. While he's not even seeing them because he's writing stuff down, and you know he's dressed for whatever, a rally. And so they're like, hi, and she goes, well, hi. And she goes, well, what's your name? She goes like, well, I'm Candace. And she goes, hi, Miss Candace. And she's like, well, I'm Sylvia. And I think he said his name was Jackson because I heard him call him Jax. I'm just gonna say Jax. She goes, well, I'm Sylvia, and I'm Jax. And she goes, well, hi. And he goes, you're pretty, you know, the little boy. And she's like, well, thank you. And then so he gets up. He's like, kids, come on, don't bother the nice lady. She's like, no, they're good. They're beautiful. Like, they're fine. And so they're like, did you know, like, our father is going to be president? And she's like, no, I didn't know that. Is he? And she goes, yeah, will you vote for him? And then she goes, yes, I will. She's like, I wish I could vote so I could vote for him, you know. And he's like, all right, come on, Sylvia, you got to get ready for school. And she's like, I don't want to go. Do we have to? And she's like, it's not even a school, it's a bus. He's like, well, we're on the road, sweetie. She's like, well, I want to go back to my old school. And he's like, I know, but this is what we got to work with for now. And then he's got like some type of nanny, so he's like, Heather, come on. And then they could take them like to the bus stop or whatever. And then they go, bye, Miss Candace, and they leave. Like, it was cute. It was so scripted. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cameras are rolling. It was that for me. Because then he even goes, he's like, Dad loves you. And then she's like, I love you, Dad. And he's like, Dad loves you too. Like, it was just so perfect that it was so scripted. You know what I mean? But, like, you enjoyed it. I was like, get this out of here. Is he doing this so he could up the polls? You know what I mean? Like, you thought it was one of those moments. Photo op, you know. And she even said so. She's like, no photo ops with the kids while you're here. And he's like, no, I take being a father very seriously. And she's like, yeah, I can tell. And she was like, this is really weird for me. He's like, what do you mean? She's like, you're so unfazed by me. Like, what is that? And he's like, don't let my face, like, fool you. Like, I'm not a duck on the water. Like, I'm something like that. He's like, I'm cool, like, in the face, but, like, my feet are paddling really quick. Like, you know, like I'm about to drown or something. And she goes, okay. And then she's like, come over. He's like, you do like making demands, huh? Because he's like, I can't. She's like, come over. He's like, so you really do like making demands? She's like, yes, I do. Now come over. He goes over there, and, she's just like, I really can't believe how unfazed you are by me. Like, I mean, I gave you the recordings, I let you hear it, and you're just kind of sitting here chilling. And he's like, well, are you a threat to me? She's like, no, I'm not a threat to you. And he's like, thank you for not doing anything with those recordings. And she's like, I was never going to do anything with them. And then so he's like, well, if I were you, now's the time to do something, because I'm not the type to sit around and wait for the other shoe to drop. And she goes, let's drop some shoes right now. And he's like, you know, actually, I need to tell you something. You know, because she's obviously being nasty when she says that. So he's like, actually, I need to tell you something. She goes, no, you don't talk. I do. And then so he goes, are you sure? You might want to hear this because this affects you. She's like, oh, you don't have anything, do you? And then he's like, no, of course not. She's like, then I don't want to hear anything. You know, take your shirt off or whatever it was she said. And then so he goes, all right. Like, so I'm guessing he was going to tell her, I do know everything that's going on with you because of what happens later on. So anyway, he ends up taking off his shirt. I don't know what happened next because it was too much. And so if there was any dialogue, I'm sorry, but I missed it. When he took his shirt off, I changed. Okay. He's in shape. I will say that. Moving on. Okay. And then she even tries to tell him, oh, like you're real cute, but you don't know something. The size of the engine is great, and the body of the car is fantastic, but it just hasn't been broken in or something. She just doing too much. She sound like a whole dude. Like, girl, stop. You know what I mean? Just all the, just so inappropriate. Like, just running game or so. That's how she sounded to me. It was a little strange, but it was Candace, so I guess not really. So then we switched to Benny at the police station, and the detective comes in. It was a different one. And he's like, man, what do you want? I've been here all night. He's like, well, you won't talk to us. That's why you've been here all night. He's like, no, I don't have anything to say. He's like, am I under arrest or not? He's like, no, you're not under arrest. He's like, well, you said I was under arrest. He's like, no, we didn't. We brought you in for questioning. He's like, well, I'm under arrest or not? He's like, no, you're not. He's like, then I'm leaving. He's like, not so fast. He's like, if I'm under arrest, you can't hold me here. He's like, well, technically that's right. Lawfully I can't. But he goes, but wait a minute. He's like, no, I'm leaving. Next thing you know, somebody else comes in. Mr. Young, sit down. He's like, oh, great. Who is this? He's like, I'm Agent Davis. He's like, and what do you want? He goes, DNA. He goes, you got to be kidding me. DNA for what? He's like, we have reason to believe that you're a threat to a presidential candidate. He's like, are you kidding me right now? He's like, I don't know any presidential candidate. He's like, this has got to be a joke. He's like, either you could give us the DNA or we could take it. He's like, no, I have rights. He's like, yeah, but if you're a threat to national security, blah, blah, blah. So either you could give us the DNA or we're taking it. We could take the blood or you can give it to us. Easy way or the hard way. So he's like, well, I'm not giving you any DNA, so that's done. He goes, okay, sir, I'll be right back. Like, he about to go get some, extra backup or something. He's like, okay, I get how y'all are doing it now. No food, no water. I got it. And then he's like, just relax. The other guy, Agent Davis, leaves. The white dude leaves. And the black cop is there. He goes, just relax. He's like, yeah, relax. Okay. He goes, so then we switch to Candace. So she starts talking to him. No, she starts taking pictures of him in bed, like, ooh, just selfies and all that. Like, hey, you know what I mean? Okay, I need to stop because I don't even take selfies. But that's how she was. You know what I mean? Just, she's all over it. And so he's like, Candace, really? And he didn't even seem chill about it. He was looking all in the camera and just sitting there. So he wasn't about to hide his face. So he was just like, Candace, come on, really? He's like, you can't do that. She's like, well, I just did. She goes, and I love taking selfies too. He goes, you don't have any respect for me, do you? She's like, yes, I do. He's like, no, I mean, you don't have any respect for my accomplishments. He's like, I am the youngest president ever elected into office. She goes, and that's really good. He's like, nah, you don't have any respect for me. And she's like, look, I have respect for the office, but you're human. Like, if I stab you, you bleed. You're not like, you're not like royalty to me. Not to be disrespectful, but that's just kind of how it is. And so he goes, so then she tells him, he tells her, he goes, I don't like being blackmailed. She's like, I'm not blackmailing you. He's like, well, I don't like the thought of being blackmailed. She's like, well, then don't think about it. Just think about this, and like tries to cuddle up with him. That was very weird for me because it had a sort of a pathetic look to it, like as if she had to threaten in order to have companionship, because you are aware that you were doing that so you can get money out of him. So then then he tells you he doesn't like the thought of being blackmailed, and you're just, okay, so don't think about that. Like, it was just so weird because it was a genuine, please don't think about that because we're in this romantic moment right now, but it could never be that because you're blackmailing him. So it was a little pathetic for me. I really hate to say that. It came off like, you know what I mean? Like, it came off that way for me. Like, this is how you have to get companionship, Candace? You kind of like forcing them to, you know what I mean? So she's telling him, just don't think about that. He's like, no, I'm serious. She's like, well, why are you so serious? He's like, well, because you're not taking this seriously, pretty much. And she's like, okay, fine, well, let's get serious. And then he goes, Vincent, I need you. And he didn't even say it loud. It was really low. And she was like, what? Who's Vincent? Next thing you know, all these Secret Service come in. And she's like, what the heck is going on? This is illegal. They start searching the bathroom, searching. And one of the guys goes, we have reason to believe you've been recruiting Americans into jihad. And he goes, this is violation of the Patriot Act. You're under arrest. And then, so she turns and looks at him and then turns back. And then Charles is like, Candace, look at me. Look at me. He goes, you're under arrest. Next week on the Haves and the Have-Nots. So this is kind of, I think this was just to show her. And he goes, and then the guy goes, you're under arrest for terrorism. So I think this was just to show her what he's capable of. I don't know if he's really going to go through with having her arrested because it didn't look like it. Next week, it looks like she's still in the hotel room. But he's like, Candace, you don't know me and you don't know who I am. That's what he said tonight. He was like, don't act like you know who I am. Because she goes, why are you so trusting of everybody? And he's like, I don't know. I've just always been that way. She's like, well, it's not good. You know, and he's like, you really think you know me, huh? She goes, well, I do know you. He goes, no, you don't know me. He goes, I'm Senator Charles Walter Frederickson. She's like, I know that. He's like, but you don't know who I am. You don't know what I do. And that's when all the Secret Service men busted. When he said, Vincent, I need you. And they all bust in there. So next week, he's talking about, oh, you know how long you could get for this, right? And then he's talking to one of the Secret Service guys. He goes, how long did the other girl get? He goes, life sentence, sir. And he goes, and so he's done this before. So he's letting Candace know, which whatever you thought you were going to pull, that's not going to happen because I'm a senator. Like, whatever you tried, you think I've never been attempted blackmail before, which I was a senator. It's not like he a newbie, obviously going into presidency, but he was already in politics. You got him, and that's why not Charles. Oscar tried to tell her, please don't tell me that you're coming at this by yourself, Candace. Oscar had the political backing of these mother effers, snake mother effers, who was trying to get Charles out of office. So at least he had bigwigs behind him who could potentially pull him out of a situation if they needed to, because they're paying Oscar. So that's why he told Candace, he was like, please do not tell me you're trying to go at this by yourself. Because he tells her, he's like, your face is plastered on the news for murder. You're not in a position where you could be doing this right now without my backing. So, I mean, I understand she didn't want to work with Oscar, but girl, you should have knew that's not going to work. So now, I don't know, because Candace is hard-headed. So we'll see if this actually gets to her. So I don't know. But I think they are going to end up definitely getting DNA from Benny. I don't know what's going on with this president. Did Charles do that? Is he, like, going to tell her, oh, and your brother, Benjamin Young? Nice kid. Too bad what I had to do to him. Yeah, is it going to be something like that? Is he involved? Otherwise, what the F is Secret Service Agent Davis doing down there? I'm guessing he's just an agent. Like, Secret Service agent, not FBI. But I don't know. It could be. I don't even know. Okay, I guess we're going to find out. But yeah, let me definitely know if you guys heard about Tyler moving to BET. Like, I guess it's signed, set in stone. Like, the deal's already been signed. And he's leaving OWN in 2019 officially. So, and his deal with BET is going to run to 2024. So, we'll see. But yeah, this was a good episode, you guys. I'm ready, for more episodes. It's really heating up. It's a good season, So, we are going to continue to see what's going on, you guys. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank God I'm on time this week. And I did get to the comments. So thank you guys so much. It is the one and only your girl, Jada J. Y'all know what it is. I got to go to work tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here with me. Peace.